on 97.3 The Fan.
And what is happening in San Diego? Welcome to a 3-day weekend. Yes, Friday wrapping up this week and looking ahead for 3 days off. Of course, Labor Day on Monday. Padres, they're going to work in Tampa tonight against the Tampa Bay Rays. And because of that, we have a very short show for you today. Chris Ello here. Tony Gwynn Jr. is down in Tampa. Of course, with the Padres, he and Jesse Agler will have the call of tonight's game. Matt Scraby's alongside here in the Odyssey Palace as we get things going. Our Friar Friday interview coming up in about 15 minutes with lefty reliever Tanner Scott. We visited with him just a short time ago, and we had a lot of laughs with Tanner Scott. So stick around for that. That's coming up soon. But, Scraby, we got to get right to it here. We don't have a whole lot of time. The Padres, they don't have a whole lot of time, right? They got to right the ship quickly after 2 losses in St. Louis to wrap that series up. Want to get back on the winning track tonight. The Dodgers, I'll tell you what, I hate to tip my cap to the Dodgers. I mean, I hate doing it.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, ever since the Padres got within 2 games, it doesn't seem like the Dodgers have lost. And, you know, maybe that does coincide with the fact that Mookie Betts came back and Max Muncy came back, and all of a sudden the Dodgers became the Dodgers again. But they beat Baltimore last night, so the Padres slipped 5 games back in the NL West. To me, look, I'm not letting go of that rope. I mean, if I'm the Padres, I got to still keep playing well down the stretch. Hope you can hang tough. You got the final week series up in L.A., I really want to still win the division. I know a lot of people are like, don't worry about it. Yeah, why not worry about it? I mean, try to win the division. You don't get the opportunity to do it very often. In fact, the Dodgers have won it, about 19 years in a row or so it seems.
Did the Giants win that one year where they won like 105 games?
Yes, and then the Dodgers beat them in the playoffs,
yes.
Right. So that was the year that the Dodgers beat the Giants after the Giants won it. But, yeah, Padres haven't won a division in ages. So, I mean, I'd like to win the division title. I'd like to get the bye in the playoffs. And everybody who says, oh, no, you don't want the bye, just remember one thing. You can't lose in the first round if you don't play in the first round.
That's right, you move on.
It just makes no sense to me that people are like, oh, well, you saw what happened to this team and that team and the other. Yeah, well, that's what happened to those teams. I want my team to have a bye if we can get a bye. And so don't let go of the rope. You still got a shot in the division. You're only a game back of the Diamondbacks for the top wild card spot. Plenty on the line as Martin Perez goes to the mound tonight against Taj Bradley of the Tampa Bay Rays. Padres, by the way, and I was kind of alerted to this by Jesse Agler's tweet today. You know, I pride myself on finding interesting, fun statistics and kind of goofy stuff, but I think Jesse Agler beats me. He just does better, goofier stuff than I do.
It's his job to kind of find those things.
I get that, but I like to do that.
And you do.
And I come up with a lot of them, but he came up with this one. The Padres have not won a game in Tampa since 2010.
Ooh.
It's a long time now. To quantify that a little bit. Thank you. To quantify that a little bit, they haven't played down there since 2016. So this is their first trip in 8 years. But each of the last 2 3-game series that were played down there, the Padres were swept. They've lost a total of 7 in a row there. And here was what the Jesse note was. The last time the Padres won a game in Tampa, the Padres' leadoff hitter was a guy by the name of Tony Gwynn Jr. Yeah, it was you, Tony. And we're not going to say how well he did that day.
Yeah, I looked it up.
Scraby looked it up, and
it doesn't hurt.
Didn't quite go his
doesn't
way.
help to say anything.
Yeah, we're not going to say. It's better to say nothing at all sometimes.
And you know what I did when I clicked off the page? I told Chris, well, I didn't have any Major League stats registered.
That's right. You had no stats. At least he had a couple of offers next to his name.
Yeah.
Tony will be with us for our interview with Tanner Scott. He's obviously getting ready for the broadcast tonight. But, it's been a while. It's been some time since the Padres have won in Tampa, so tonight would be a good night to do it. They finally will get a day off on Tuesday. and that will end a stretch of 18 games in 18 days, which is never easy, but especially difficult when you're doing it late in August. And it includes a trip to St. Louis for 4 days where you're playing in sweltering, almost inhumane heat.
I was thinking about this.
What?
Chris, people play in hot weather all the time.
You have not ever played a single baseball game in St. Louis. Is that correct? So
Let me go back in the Rolodex. Yeah, correct.
Correct. All right. So until you have no right to comment on this.
But I've played. I've.
Luis Arise said today, he goes, it was ridiculous out there.
And he was in Miami, so I guess they're.
No, he was talking about St. Louis.
I know, but he once was in
St.
Miami.
Louis is absurd in late August. But anyway, 14 games into this stretch, the Padres are 7-7, and that's not bad, but it's not good enough because you're in the NL West and everybody else keeps winning games. So Padres need to end this, stretch, this swing on an upswing. And to me, that means 2 out of 3 in Tampa. Then you got to fly all the way across back here to San Diego and play the Tigers on Monday. And I think you got to win that game. So to me, you got to go 3-1 here to close out this stretch. And then you get your day off on Tuesday, and you get everybody rested a little bit. And then you look around, and maybe Fernando Tatis Jr. is walking in that door, and maybe Yu Darvish is getting ready to walk in that door, and Hassan Kim's walking in the door. I'm not guaranteeing any of that. I'm not saying that Tuesday is the day they all return, but it's kind of leaning that way, right? I mean, Darvish went down to Phoenix yesterday with Kim.
Yeah.
Fernando's already there. I don't, people are saying, well, Fernando would have to do a rehab assignment. Why? What does Fernando need a rehab assignment for? It's Fernando. Let's get him in there. Let's start playing ball. I don't need to have him go 3 days in Lake Elsinore. Just
that's
play
fun
ball.
for the Storm fans.
It's great for the Storm fan. I with all due respect to all of you Storm fans, I'm more concerned about what the Padres need to do right now, and that is win 3 out of these next 4 games, get your day off, and then get fully healthy, and you'll have 22 games left, all right, as of Tuesday. Right now they have 26 left. So you play these 4 games, you'll have 22 games left. That means Darvish gets to make 4 more starts. That means Fernando, gives you 3 weeks, and, you take your shot. You take your shot to try and win this division. It's not going to be any kind of failure if you don't win it. There's a pretty good consolation prize for you, which is you're going to get into the playoffs. But I say, shoot for it. And I think you got to win, this weekend in Tampa Bay. So we will have Sam Levitt
sweep.
Well, a sweep, I never call for a sweep unless you're playing the Rockies at home.
Wait, I don't know why you even do that.
And then the sweep happens the opposite.
Yeah, the reverse sweep.
The reverse sweep. So, yes, I'm not going to call for a sweep because the last time I did that, it didn't go too well. Sam Levitt will have the pregame show, all the stats and stories for you in about 45 minutes. Until then, we'll keep you company here on Gwynn and Chris. Want to remind everybody, we are off Monday, of course, because of the Labor Day holiday. Tuesday, we will be in studio. I believe all of us will be in studio.
I think so, yeah.
On Tuesday for 4 full hours because the Padres are idle next Tuesday. It's a weird week. The Padres play Monday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. So we'll be in on Tuesday, a full 4 hours. Not only will Tony be around, we'll kick everything, but next Tuesday is going to be the beginning of our NFL preview. And every probably radio, TV, podcast show does some sort of preview of the NFL season. But I like the way we do it the best. So you'll have to tune in for that. I do. I like the way we do it. I like our categories. We have some fun with it. That'll start on Tuesday next week as we look at the the upcoming NFL season, which starts a week from Thursday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, a week from yesterday, right?
I remember that segment, the preseason picks, giving birth to you saying that Kyle Shanahan was the most overrated coach in the NFL.
And he still might be.
I don't know. You can't get to the NFC Championship 3 years in a row and be overrated.
He's been to 2 Super Bowls and 2 championship games in the last 4 years, and I still think he's overrated. Yeah.
Where's your coach at?
My coach is totally overrated as well. I mean, the fact that people even think he's good is overrated if you're talking about Mike McDaniels until he proves otherwise. But our NFL preview, that's all starting on Tuesday. Now, next Wednesday is our day to be out and about. We're going to be broadcasting live at the new Buffalo Wild Wings. It's in Mira Mesa. It's at 9690 Reagan Road. I'm sure if you just,
really
search
easy.
for the
Really
Buffalo
easy.
Wild Wings location in Mira Mesa, then, use your Google Maps. And
From the 15,
You'll
get off
be there.
Mira Mesa Boulevard, head towards the beach,
and
which
you're going
means
to run
west,
into it. Yeah, exactly.
and it's on the left,
Yeah.
some point down the road.
It's not too far. We're going to be giving out 3 pairs of tickets next Wednesday to an upcoming Padres-Astros game. So you'll get some Padre tickets if you show up. And also Buffalo Wild Wings is going to be signing people up for 10 lucky people to win free wings for a year, which sounds really good. So that's all next Wednesday. We invite you all to join us at Buffalo Wild Wings up there in Mira Mesa. I also think next Wednesday we'll be talking a lot about the station's fantasy football draft, which is next Tuesday night, Scraby. Don't look now. But it's coming up. It's about time you put your championship belt on the line
Oh yeah,
for a
that's
new
true.
season of fantasy football.
I'm ready for that. I have not 1, not 2, but 3 fantasy football drafts on Tuesday.
Oh, really? All on Tuesday?
Well, they're staggered,
Okay.
but it's going to be a lot of fantasy football.
That's a lot of craziness for you on
Because
Tuesday.
the Padres actually asked me to, the Padres PR staff actually asked me to be in a league with like other people. Like
Right.
I was considered with some of these other big name reporters, which was really kind of awesome.
That's nice to
Sam
hear.
Levitt's in the league. I know Ben Woods and Paul are in the league.
Wow.
I think Derek Togerson, Kevin
Oh,
Acey.
my goodness. This is a who's who of celebrity journalism.
Jake Garriani, our guy.
I don't know
is in
what
there.
you're doing in there, but...
I don't either, but that's the other draft. Oh,
All right.
Tony's in it too, so...
Wow. All right.
But really, the main league we're talking about is our league.
I don't know if I think I'm now in the minority officially, but I decided ages ago that I don't understand being in more than one fantasy football league. I never got it. Because if you're in more than one, it's automatic that on certain weeks, your player on one team is going to be your opponent on another team. And I just don't know how to couch that. I don't know how to root for and against Patrick Mahomes at the same time.
Here's
I
how
don't
you
get
do
it.
it.
So I
Here's
don't
how
get
you
why
do
people
it.
are in 2 or 3 or 4 leagues, but I know most of you are.
Here's how you do it, because I'm a guy who's in way too many leagues, and I actually dropped the league this year only to be invited into the Padres
Into
PR
another
league,
one, yeah.
And I didn't want to say no to them, but here's how you do it. You rank your leagues. This is how I do it. The league that I feel like I have the strongest chance in, that's my most
what you
important
root
league.
for.
And then it goes
All
down the
right.
line.
Wow.
But I understand why
I've
it's
never
difficult
liked it.
for you.
I've
No, not you. I'm saying I understand why.
I just don't get it. I to me, one league is plenty, and I've always enjoyed that. I'd like to do a little better in the one league that I'm in, but maybe this will be the year. All right, tomorrow the Aztecs make their debut under new coach Sean Lewis, so that is coming up this weekend. I don't know. I did read today that the student section sold out in like 1 hour.
Really?
That's a really good sign. I don't know how many people are going to be down at Snapdragon tomorrow. I mean, honestly, the opponent is still Texas A&M Commerce. I don't know what kind of a draw that's going to be, but it's going to be exciting to see how Coach Lewis fares in his debut. He was on with Annie and Elston just a little while ago. So you Aztec fans, if you missed that, go to 97.3 The Fantasy, turn back. You can listen to the interview with Coach Lewis. If you stick around here, you'll get to hear the interview we did with Tanner Scott. It's our Friar Friday visit. It's coming up next as we get underway on Finally a Friar Friday. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Mr. Scraby, 97.3 The Fan. Earlier, Tony and I caught up with a fun guy, Tanner Scott, left-handed reliever now for the Padres. Your chance to meet him in our Friar Friday interview. And indeed, time for our Friar Friday interview. And today we're excited to have with us the new lefty in the Padre bullpen. Tanner Scott joins us here on Gwynn and Chris. And Tanner, it's a bit belated, but welcome to San Diego. How has your time been here so far? Obviously, the team's played pretty well since you've arrived, so you've been kind of a lucky charm.
Oh, it's been awesome. I mean, thanks for having me. And I love every minute I've been over here, and it's been an awesome experience.
Tanner, you go from a team that wasn't having that much success to a team that's having great success, and your role has changed a little bit since you put on the Padre uniform. How has the adjustment been for you in terms of that?
We got a great group of guys here, and that was a big difference. We're winning games here, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And then my role, I really don't care. I just want the ball. I want to pitch whenever they need it. Whatever situation I can help with is what I'm going to go with.
Tanner Scott is from Ohio and drafted out of Notre Dame College in Ohio. Also went to Howard College in Big Spring, Texas. Sounds like you were all over the map before you got drafted. Tell us a little bit about when and where you got into baseball and where you started thinking, hey, this might work out for me someday.
So my senior year of high school, we had Jason Stanford. He used to pitch with Cleveland, and he got me really into pitching. And then I went to Notre Dame College in Cleveland for a year. We weren't the greatest. We didn't have the greatest record, and I transferred to a junior college in literally the middle of nowhere. And I was like, oh well, this is definitely different. But I had a great group of guys down there, and it was awesome. I loved my experience down at Howard, and I still keep in touch with some of the guys. And yeah, I was playing summer ball in Cincinnati, Ohio for the Midland Redskins, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to transfer to a junior college?" I was like, "Sure." Didn't even go visit it or anything, and next thing you know, I'm on a plane out to I think I flew into Midland, Odessa, and got to Big Spring, and I loved every minute of it. It was awesome.
So, Tanner, at what point in this journey does it start to become pretty apparent to you that you might have a chance to be a professional?
I really didn't think about it until coming to the end of the year at Howard, and they're like, "Hey, you got a chance to be drafted." I was like, "Oh wow!" Never even thought of it, and it was definitely life changing, and I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, it's worked out great. Tanner Scott is with us, an all-star for the Miami Marlins before the Padres acquired him this year. And as he said, drafted by the Orioles before going to the Marlins and now the San Diego Padres. How much have you been able to get settled in San Diego? I would think getting traded in the middle of the season, it's pretty hectic trying to get things sorted out.
Oh, my lovely wife handled everything. She's the best.
Right.
Yeah, so right when we got traded, sure enough, she was talking to a realtor like maybe within 24 hours because we have a 11-month-old son. And she was like, "Hey, we need to find this. I've heard this. And I'm like, "All right, whatever you think's right." And she found a house, and then actually when we flew to Miami, she moved into San Diego, so it was kind of funny. We just completely flipped. She left Miami and went to San Diego, and I went from San Diego back to Miami. But yeah, I love her to death. She helped me so much with finding everything where I didn't have to do anything.
Tanner Scott joins us here, Padres reliever here on Gwynn and Chris. And Tanner, obviously you're enjoying a terrific season thus far. You got a chance to be an all-star. I saw a little bit of your video that you kind of took while you were out there. Talk a little bit about that experience and becoming an all-star and just what it was like to be around some of the best in the game all in one locker room.
Oh yeah, it I got to meet all the best players in the game, and I mean, just being in the same clubhouse, playing with the same group of guys that you kind of hate playing against because you don't want to like them, but then you get them in the same locker room, and you're like, oh, they're actually a good person. It's kind of weird because right when you step in the lines, usually you're like, oh, I hate this guy. But the whole experience was just awesome.
I'm glad he's on our side now. Tanner Scott is our guest. Your career statistics, Tanner, 368 appearances, all in relief. You've never started a game. And I'm always curious about somebody who ends up being a closer or a late inning reliever such as yourself. Did you ever start games anywhere, or and what did somebody see that said, no, I think you'd be better off as a reliever? And, were you accepting of that idea at the beginning?
Yeah, so, I mean, at the beginning, I believe everyone's just, hey, let's see if you can start. So,
yeah,
went that route. It really didn't work out. And then if you actually look at my 2017 stats in AA, I only started. And I only went 3 innings. So the only thing I could do was get a no decision or a loss. And I think luckily that year I only had 1 loss or 2 losses.
Yeah.
And I mean, I prefer coming into the game not starting it. I don't want a fresh mound.
You like the mound a little bit beat up, it sounds like. Tanner Scott joins us. And Tanner, last one from me. I mean, you've been able to mix in with some pretty talented arms in the back end of that bullpen. And I don't know if you've ever been a part of a group that has the kind of potential that this group has really shown throughout the course of the year. What's it been like mixing in with these guys, and how much do you get a chance to kind of bounce things off one another?
Oh, I mean, it's been great. I mean, we got a great group of guys, and they accepted me and Brian when we got traded over, and Jason. And I mean, the bullpen's different. You're a small family inside of a big family, and I mean, you get to know the guys, and they're accepting. And then after 24 hours of them being like, oh, who is this guy? You actually get to know the person and get to talk to them throughout the day. Like I talk to everyone down there and get to know them, and then just bounce off like, oh, how do you do this? What do you do this? And it's been awesome. I mean, great group of guys down there.
Yeah, and he's one of them, Tanner Scott. Tanner, okay, this is my last question, and I go a little nuts, but this is from Baseball Savant, the website. They say in your entire career, you have thrown only 1 changeup. Does that sound okay? It is correct. And that was this year. So what led to you deciding to throw one?
All right. So in the spring, I was always like, I want to change up. I want to throw a change up. In spring training, I would throw them. And I mean, I would say they went about 50 feet, not the full 60 feet. So they weren't the greatest. And I believe we were playing the Mets maybe at the beginning of the year, and we had Christian Betancourt at the time. He called a pitch, I shook. He called another pitch, I shook. He called the first pitch again. I was like, no, and there was like 3 seconds on the clock, and he just clicked changeup. So I just literally gripped it like I would a changeup. Don't even know where my hands were on the seams, and I threw it, and it was 93 to the backstop. So I was like, yeah, put that in the back pocket for another time.
All right. Well, there's your scouting report.
It was funny. It read 4-seam fastball on the radar gun in the stadium. I remember looking back and I'm like, let's see how hard that was. It said 93 4-seam fastball. It's like, okay, that's not a fastball.
Yeah. All right. Well, we know the scouting report on Tanner Scott. Don't look for the changeup, but it's not going to matter. You probably can't hit the fastball either. Thanks again for your time, Tanner. Best of luck the rest of the way. We look forward to having some fun in October, and it's great having you here with the Padres.
Thank you guys.
Very good. Tanner Scott right there, our Friar Friday guest, live from Tampa. Yes, and he did quite a good job there. 93 to the backstop. And I got to thank Scraby, because Scraby was the one who actually looked that up on Baseball Savant.
feel good about that one.
And discovered that Tanner Scott had only thrown one changeup.
And you know what's funny? I saw the miles per hour said 93. I was like, wow, that's a really fast changeup.
Yeah, I don't think that pitch acted the way he had hoped.
No.
And that first he was able to answer why he threw it in the first place,
Which was hilarious.
because they just didn't have any more time left on the clock.
So he just did it.
And then he answered why he hasn't thrown another one, because it was such a disaster the first time.
He's mostly four-seamer slider.
And he's pretty tough to hit, as everybody in the National League has found out this year. All right, we'll take a quick timeout.
Nope.
Oh, we don't have a timeout.
We do not. We're done until the end of the show.
Oh.
Yes. So
All
we
right.
got 12 minutes.
I wasn't aware of that. Why do we not have a timeout?
Because it's an awkward time, and because we have spots that, it's just an awkward time.
Yeah, well, just do something about that.
I did. I scheduled it for the end of the show. I
right.
said, it's no big deal, Adam. We'll have a big old talk segment.
So we'll just carry on with the conversation
Yes.
here.
Here's what I want to ask you, though, because it was pretty tragic about these hockey players.
Yeah, I wanted to get to it. There's no question I was going to get to it. I thought about opening the show, honestly, with it. I didn't want to be on such a downer to start the show, but I do think it's the biggest story in sports today. And, it really does put a Padre baseball game in proper perspective. If you didn't hear about this, it's really one of the more tragic stories I've seen coming down in a long time in the sports world. The right winger or left winger for the Columbus Blue Jackets, 31-year-old Johnny Gaudreau, and his brother Matthew, who's also a professional hockey player, riding their bikes in New Jersey. And according to police, the driver of a Jeep Grand Cherokee was driving behind another SUV. The SUV slid over a little bit to make room for the two bicyclists, Johnny Gaudreau and his brother. The driver of the Jeep Grand Cherokee was drunk. He was 43 years old, and he decided to zoom past the SUV on the right side. And hit both guys, and they both died. And it's just such an awful story on so many levels. Here's one of the levels that it's awful. Imagine this, Scraby. Both guys were in town for their sister's wedding, which is tomorrow.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Right. So they perish in an accident the day before their sister is supposed to be married. Both of these guys are, have kids, families. It's so awful. The words don't even really, I don't have the words for this. The driver, 43-year-old, I don't care what his name is. It's here. But he's being charged with 2 counts of death by auto. There isn't enough punishment you can give this person. There's no way to bring these guys back.
No, but I can't tell you this for sure, but I have a good feeling this person is punishing themselves for the rest of their lives for this.
Well, that's all well
because
and good.
I've met people.
I'm sorry. This is so awful. I can't even begin. And I just goes without saying, but if you're going out tonight, let's just start with tonight and then go from there. If you're going out tonight and you're gonna drink, get a ride home or an Uber.
Yeah.
This is such an awful story. Please have it wedged in the back of your mind so you don't ever drink and drive again. This is it's so sad. Gaudreau, by the way, was a star player in the NHL. I know a lot of us don't follow the league, closely. He had won in college at Boston College the Hobey Baker Trophy many years ago. That is the same as the football Heisman. He was the best player in all of college hockey.
Hobey Baker, huh?
Hobey Baker Award. And he played 11 seasons in the NHL. He was an all-star in 2023. I'm so sickened and saddened by this. I guess maybe that's why I didn't open the show with it, because I didn't know how I would get out of it and then carry on and go, oh, and by the way, the Padres play tonight.
Yeah, well, let me say this, because
so tough.
I am not condoning this dude for drinking and driving. I'm coming at it from
of course you're not.
I'm coming at it from a perspective of what happens when you wake up from something like this, because I've met people that have taken lives, and they all tell a horrible story themselves, and they say, "It don't feel bad for me. I did the wrong. I should be the only one feeling bad for me." I
don't feel bad for this driver. I feel awful for these kids.
I do too.
Who both died. And as I said, I don't think there's enough you can punish this driver. It doesn't matter. You can't bring them back. And you say that the driver, he'll punish himself. Fine. It doesn't bring these guys back.
It doesn't.
It's an irreversible mistake.
It is. But what this guy does going forward will change a lot. Maybe this person becomes an activist for drunk driving. I don't know. I'm putting big things in the air.
But
I get what you're saying, Chris.
It's hard to think the way you're thinking right now.
I know.
It honestly is.
And I'm also not involved in it. It's from afar, so I don't have personal feelings tied to this. Either way, this is just proof that drinking and driving is one of the most selfish actions you can do, because you're not only hurting yourself, but you hurt other people. And
imagine, first of all, I feel affected by this. I don't know Johnny Gaudreau. Imagine how many people's lives have been just forever destroyed by what happened here.
Oh, yeah.
The only reason I want to say one more time, put this story in the back of your head and leave it there.
Yeah.
So the next time you drink, you think about it before you drive. I'm not on a high horse here. I just don't want to.
This is common sense these days.
I just don't want to read this story ever again in sports or anywhere. And I know that that's a pipe dream, but we've got to start somewhere. And this is such an awful tragedy.
Where did this occur?
It was in New Jersey. New Jersey State Police. It was at called Oldman's Township, and it was 8:19 p.m. I'm assuming last night.
Yeah, and good comment from Tyler on the chat is, it's also never been easier to get yourself a ride, which is true.
No kidding. Yeah, it's true. I'm honestly so heartbroken by this. I want to cry. I really do. I'm not. I can't imagine you're there for your sister's wedding tomorrow. They were both groomsmen.
Yeah, that's brutal.
I mean, this is a celebration weekend for that family.
Yeah. That
turned into a nightmare that'll never end.
Someone on the chat said that Matthew's wife was pregnant, which is also horrific if true.
Yeah, there's quite a few things in this story here that, I didn't read every word of it, but, I mean, all of it is just so... Too bad.
Yeah, I'm not going easy on the driver, by the way. I'm thinking now about how I'm sounding, and it sounds like I'm going easy on the driver. Definitely not going easy on the driver. I'm not. Because this driver should get everything that is coming to them. They killed 2 people because they were stupid enough to drink and drive. And you said pass on the right side. It sounds like they weren't supposed to pass on the right side. Who knows? But still, just people, come on. Use your head. Use your head. Uber, Lyft, taxi.
Honestly, I'm struggling just to finish the show right now. I really, truly am. I don't know how I'm supposed to tell you that Hollywood Brown is going to miss the opener for the Chiefs next week.
I don't
so
care.
What?
I don't care.
I'm supposed to tell you that, Tommy Pham was released by the Cardinals today.
That might make people happy. So. That might make some people happy.
The only way you can get me to laugh right now with that line there.
All right. Well,
yeah, it's so bad. I'm so sorry about all of that, and it just all right.
What else we got?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where to really go from there, and so. I'm glad you brought it up, but I wish you would have waited so I could have finished the show with it.
Well,
because I really don't feel like finishing the show.
I know.
At this point.
Well, let's just switch it to something very simple. What are you doing this weekend, Chris?
I am supposed to potentially go to see Petco Park tonight.
Oh, yes.
There's a concert there.
Yeah.
We gave some tickets away from it a while ago.
We did.
My wife is working on it. So I'm kind of in the wait and see.
From the phone call, it sounded like it was a done deal.
And then she kind of said it wasn't totally a done deal.
Oh,
so
okay.
We'll
I just assumed you already had your
but
plans.
I might go see the Journey Def Leppard concert tonight. I might even go see another one tomorrow night.
What?
Which is Earth, Wind, and Fire's playing down at Chula Vista.
Wow.
So it might be a concert type weekend, although I'm leaning to go to the Aztec game tomorrow. I want to be there. I want to see
I
Sean
wanted
Lewis.
to go too, but guess what I'm
So,
doing, Chris?
What do you got?
I'm calling play-by-play for Pop Warner.
At 5 o'clock tomorrow?
At 4 o'clock.
Oh.
So one of my friends that I've known forever, her kid is playing Pop Warner, and I guess each home team needs to come up with an announcer for it. So she asked me if I wanted to do it.
You were the guy, huh?
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing play-by-play and PA announcing for Pop Warner.
You were the chosen one.
Yes.
Well, have fun with that tomorrow. I think you should tape a little audio for the show next week.
I'm going
to.
to.
So we can hear that.
I got a pronunciation sheet of all the names, and there's a lot of Samoan names on there.
Don't mess
so I'm
any
in
of these
trouble.
names up, man. This
I'm
is
in
a
trouble.
big deal for these kids.
They actually got me the names early because they knew that the names were so difficult to pronounce that I needed practice.
Well, here's what I want. I want you to arrive early, and I want you down on the field before every game, like I used to do as a PA
This is
announcer.
only one game for now.
I used to go down on the field before every game and ask every player I didn't know how to pronounce their name. Let's go. These are 12-year-old kids. It's important.
I agree it's important, but
All right, don't mess it
I'm not
up.
going to just walk up to a random 12-year-old and
Yes.
be like, "Hey, kid, what's your name?
You don't
How
have
do
to
you
sa-
pronounce
You don't have
it?
to sound like that. You can be
Kid,
pleasant.
what's your name?
You can be pleasant. You go, I'm the PA announcer. I want to make sure I pronounce your name correctly tonight. How do you pronounce it?
And they're going to give me like a 35-syllable name.
Well, then you have to work on that. That's all.
all right.
Also, I think on Monday, my wife has decided that we will spend Labor Day laboring on the golf course. She wants to go golf.
Which
Monday.
golf course? Well, I don't know if you want to give that out.
Yeah. I don't want. It's not because of me. It's because of her. I mean, people will come, attack her for autographs and stuff. So I have to protect her. I have to protect her anonymity there.
Oh, someone said I need a clipboard on the sideline. It'll make me look more official.
Yeah, come walk out there with a clipboard. All right, Sam Levitt's coming up next. Sorry about that downer to end things today, but it's a story that has to be talked about.
Has to be.
And I know everyone all over the country is talking about it, and I hope that we all get the message. Enjoy Padre baseball. We're back Tuesday. Don't forget. Have a good 3-day weekend, and enjoy it. And,
Be safe.
Be safe out there for sure.
Please
Thank
call
you.
for a ride.
Yeah. All right. For Tony, Scraby, Chris here, Sammy Levitt next.